Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I'm Justin from the Rise Up podcast. I am here with Jessica Phillips. She is the VP of Business Development at Phillips Collection. They are an eco-friendly meets luxury. I could say that. It is because it really is. Business of home decor and furniture and art, and their stuff is absolutely amazing. And Jessica is going to tell you all about the brand. Jessica, welcome to the Rise Up
Thanks
podcast.
for having me, Justin.
Okay, so we had a false start and we're going to start all over again. So here we are. We're diving in. So,
Do it.
Jessica, tell me the story again of how Phillips Collection began and what the brand ethos is and where it stands for today.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad I got my test run in. So, Phillips Collection is a modern organic line for the luxury sector, the industry. We have been around for a little over 40 years. My grandparents and parents created this business out of a love of travel and discovery. And it was just bringing things, buying things, bringing containers back, seeing how it did. And it evolved over the years through wrought iron, found items, and now we're where we are today. And so in the 80s, while everybody had these amazing modern formica and glass block houses, we had columns in the front of our house from Thai temples, chofas around, Buddhas. We stuck out and we continue to, but we hope in a really exciting way. And so Phillips Collection's tagline is every piece a conversation. Uh, there's a story behind everything. We hope it sparks a conversation in the home or store or wherever somebody is experiencing our products. And sustainability is really important to us.
Mhm.
We were founding members of the Sustainable Furnishings Council, and now we are involved in science and design, which, if you're not familiar, is a newer focus. But the fact that there is a scientific component to how natural materials feel in the home.
Mm.
And that's, biophilia, and that's a whole other conversation. But there are two aspects to Phillips Collection. So there's repeatable cast products that we bring you, and you get consistent products. We can do different finishes, indoor, outdoor, get a little more creative. And then there's Origins, which are live edge tables and unearthed roots. And we turn those into dining tables, coffee tables, consoles, sculpture, wall decor. Makes us unique is that each piece has its own SKU. So when you're on our website and you're looking at products, you're getting the exact piece that you see. There's no surprise. If you pick something with more organic freeform shapes, you are not going to get a straight edge and vice versa. So that's really important and really sets us apart. Our family is from New York, and in 2001, my parents moved the entire company to High Point, North Carolina. For those of you unfamiliar, that is the mecca of the home furnishings industry. So as a lot of people think there's a beautiful design center where they live or nearby that houses a lot of brands and
Mhm.
showrooms. High Point is a city of that experience. So I always say it's the New York Fashion Week of home decor.
Yeah.
And so Phillips Collection kept growing, which is a blessing. And we survived 2008 and we survived COVID. And so in bringing our business down to High Point, it eliminated all the time to pack, travel down, be at the show, pack, come back,
Hmm.
which was twice a year of that. And so my parents were doing that and my grandparents were watching us, and that's just how life was. So we got a warehouse that has grown, and now we have 400,000 square feet. And we shuttle people from market 10 minutes away to our warehouse. And even those who know how to shop our line, and especially those who don't quite understand what we mean when we say we are leaders in this category, they walk in and they are seeing tables, consoles, sculptures, extraordinary pieces, and they get to touch and feel and put a sold tag and they make it theirs.
Mhm.
And people who say, I really don't have time. I have a lot of those clients. They do high end work. They just don't have time. I say, come for 5 minutes. We'll drive you back. They spend hours. They send their team. They're back the next day.
It's like a candy store.
It really is. And so just in terms of the sustainability, we source most of our wood from Thailand, some from Indonesia. And we've been sourcing there for so many decades that my father has a relationship with the Thai exchange. And another advantage we have is, in the 80s, we did teak tables, not live edge.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't align with our philosophy to source teak. There's amazing places to do that, but that doesn't align with the ethos of Phillips Collection. And so the relationship we have in Thailand allows us to have access to unearthed roots of teak trees that were cut down or removed legally or illegally. We don't get involved in that. We get to clear the land. We dig 15 feet down. We have a decommissioned fire truck to get all the nooks and crannies cleaned out of soil and rock. And then we strategically make cuts in these roots to maximize the use of these materials. So we
Mm.
decide if something can't quite be a table, how can we make it a sculpture? And that's really important to us. The other thing is we are not doing deforestation. So there are trees that have to be removed, that are removed, and then we are picking from those trees.
Mhm.
And again, like being creative with how things are cut. And so we just have a lot of inventory from these important relationships. In terms of our philanthropy, we're really focused on giving back to the communities in Thailand that bring us these incredible materials and the people that we've worked with for decades.
Mhm.
And so we've done, before COVID, we did a tree planting of 6,000 saplings. The schools, the villages, the police, the government, everybody got involved. And when a few people are planting a couple saplings, you can achieve that in one day.
Yeah.
In exchange for that, we rebuilt like a dilapidated playground at one of the local schools. COVID hit, we got limited by this, but post COVID, my father was able to go, Mark Phillips, and do 10,000 saplings. And we
Wow.
insisted that there was a botany course developed so that the students who really just want to be on TikTok understood the trees around them that their
Mm.
generations, past generations had been using to, live. So that's a little bit about the behind the scenes of Phillips Collection.
So let me ask you a question on that. Like, okay, so planting those 6,000, those 10,000 saplings, how long does it take for those to grow? Do you know?
Long. I don't
Long
have a
time.
time, but we primarily work with like a golden acacia that the Thai call chamcha. So out of respect for them, their culture, we call it chamcha. And they're fast growing, but they have to grow.
Yeah.
And so this will take decades to get to a point where, they're replenishing the communities.
And then you mentioned, so the ones that are already fallen or that need to be taken down legally, are those do you cut those on site? Like you have like you dig down and you go, okay, I realize this could be a table or whatever, and then you just do it on site. I mean, of
Yeah,
course you don't make the table on site, but you cut it on site.
we
Okay.
cut it.
Okay.
And then there's a whole process that people have to understand of kiln drying, making sure we fill a container before it leaves that country and comes over to the US. But yes, that is done on site, where as customization to the existing pieces we have in wood can be done locally in High Point.
Okay, cool. So how do you, kind of going back to the business as a whole, how do your clients find you? All like, or do you mostly have B2B retailers? Do you have B2C? Are you kind of a combination thereof?
So we are exclusively to the trade. So we're B2B
Okay.
business.
Okay.
And you know, They find us through High Point. They find us through, we have a showroom that now you have to pass to go between buildings in High Point Market. Um, there's social media, there's word of mouth, there's our website, there's discovery on other e-commerce retailers who have our products, and people may come to us, but we are very respectful and, you know, twin sister, mother, father, child. I will not give pricing until a designer says you can show my pricing to my client. But
Okay.
my customers are the designers and retailers
Okay.
who are then selling our products.
Okay.
And what's really nice over the years, eh, myself and the brand have learned to understand the B2C business that my customers have. Because if I don't properly communicate the story, the origin of the product, they can't sell it to their customers. And so
Yeah.
there's this interesting aspect of the industry where you have to understand the B2C, but we're not doing that.
Yeah. It's kinda like the game of telephone, as kids, you know? You're like, "Wait, what was that?" Like,
Right.
okay, and you wanna
Right.
make sure that that message is conveyed clearly because it's such a important part of Phillips Collection, right?
Mhm.
So with the type of designers and retailers that pick you guys up as, part of their collection or part of their inventory, how would you describe the kind of is there a particular type of collector or type of business that really resonates with your brand?
Yes, it's definitely a high-end luxury customer. Somebody who can afford to work with an interior designer is able to purchase and consider Phillips Collection. And there is a misconception for some people that we're only silver dogs, which is a product we sell, which is very whimsical. And there's a misconception that we're only these roots, but they don't understand that you're getting the exact piece. And
Mhm,
so there's a lot of education in how we communicate that. And I think that once people discover us and they take the time to get a sense of who we are, they become repeat customers, which is what everybody wants.
mhm.
To digress, I offer a virtual call whenever somebody requests an account. I'm personally reviewing and vetting these people, these designers and retailers. And in my connecting them with their sales rep, I'm also offering a virtual call that they can sign up through a Calendly link, much like you have. They gain this better understanding of who we are, what we can
Mhm.
do, what offerings we have, far beyond what they thought we were. And I gain a better understanding of their needs, their aesthetic. And so it's this wonderful opportunity to virtually get to know people that I couldn't easily connect with otherwise.
Right. Have you ever had the experience of, maybe the opposite end of that, where your meeting was and you don't have to drop names, I mean, don't give names, but maybe, somebody who you've met and you're like, "Yeah, you're not a good fit." You know what I mean? Like, have you ever had that side of it where, of course, you wanna grow a business, but if somebody doesn't really understand who you are and the ethos of it, then have you ever had to say no?
Um, that's a really great question. And there are seldom people that are really difficult to work with, uh, where even though the opportunity for making money with them and having them is so difficult that it's not worth investing the time, and this rarely happens, and
Yeah,
we'll always service them, but we're no longer prioritizing that. Time is money
yeah,
for them and for us. I've had people that are just incredibly rude, and again, they can come to us, but there's a limit to, we're humans, to what we'll tolerate.
yeah,
And the other thing is retailers don't always invest in putting us on the floor in a vignette. My top customers totally get it. They have these extraordinary luxury stores that I wish I could shop at, and they mix our products throughout. And it's like a really natural way to shop their other lines and incorporate Phillips. And I love that. But some people just want one or two pieces, and then they want discounts, and that volume is not enough. So it's it's tricky, but
Yeah.
it's important to be aware of.
Yeah. So what then, kind of digging into the ethos a little bit more within such a competitive industry, home decor and even the high end line, what do you feel sets you apart the most from your competitors?
I think it's that element of surprise. We have competitors who have really evolved their businesses as well to be something separate from Philips. But, we have friends in the industry who have incredible companies of wall art, for
Hmm.
instance. But how much wall art can you put or family photos without some dimensional art? And so the
Hmm.
dimensional artwork that we offer, someone knows if they want something that pops off the wall, Philips is where you're going, or they have a two-story staircase wall and they want something that just is a wow moment.
Yeah.
That's one thing. The scale of our pieces, the differentiation we offer in terms of real wood versus cast or real stone versus cast, 97-inch sculptures that go indoor and outdoor. I think that's something that really sets us apart.
Mm. And we're gonna put links, in the show notes and all this, but you should definitely check out their stuff. It is absolutely beautiful. So when you're talking about the wall art and the pieces, when you're talking about popping out from the wall, they're beautiful, absolutely stunning. So, little plug there. So what major shifts are you seeing in the industry right now?
Sustainability, responsibility in terms of everything we're seeing. Um, Technology and how we use that, how we, you know, AI has become an interesting topic. And so, how do you use that? How do you not use it too much? And for us, it's more, do we do one of those chats with a real person, but make it, something that consumers can access? Do we use different technology to, render designs or
Mhm,
generate some things beyond what we've conceived of?
mhm,
So that's very interesting. And then we have to face the fact that it's a confusing time in the world. Tariffs are a huge fear for people. And a lot of companies have already raised prices in anticipation. We have not, which I like to think sets us apart because we never say we won't. But at this point in time, we don't have a reason to, and we're not impacted enough to do that.
Is that because of, Thailand in particular?
Yes, and I mean, nothing's been set in stone yet, so it's one day the Philippines and
Yeah,
Thailand are,
yeah.
gonna be tariffs, one time they're not. The products we source from China are very few, so the impact is, I know I have friends in lighting where a lot of those components come from China,
Mhm,
and so you can't finish your beautiful lighting without those products, so
mm,
we're or c pieces, so that's, like, a nice advantage we have today.
yeah. Well, as of today, fingers crossed, hopefully it will go really, really well. So, okay, so with you mentioned you're seeing shifts in sustainability in the industry. What do you mean by that?
People want to know that they are one, they want organic things in their environment, but also that the carbon footprint is being
Mhm,
considered. Now, that's always interesting because my products are not made in America. There is a carbon footprint of bringing things over, but how they are created, the materials we're using, how we're contributing to giving back and replenishing things from the earth. So it's really a big conversation. I heard an amazing lecture from someone who owns a foam company. He makes everything from like the beauty blender, pink things that everyone uses, to sofas and mattresses. And he said the most interesting thing because people want 100% organic, sustainable materials. And when he created that, there was a smell that everybody complained about. So you have to be green to the extent that the opportunity exists without sacrificing
mm.
the integrity of the product that they want.
That's funny. I want it to be 100%. You're like, "It doesn't smell like normal." You're like, Well, that's because it's 100% organic.
Yeah.
That's 100%, and I'm wondering, I'm hopeful that maybe someday in the future that the carbon footprint, gets minimized to a point where, it's really sustainable. I mean, it's just there's no I think it's naive to think, I mean, this is my outside opinion of, you have to get products from one place to the next. At least right now, the global economy, I mean, I mean, this is global. This is not just one part of it. Is it requires energy to get there.
Yeah.
Like, so how do we do that in a way that's the most minimal impact? That's interesting. So with I'm gonna go backwards just a minute on you.
Mhm.
As a young girl growing up in the house, that you grew up with, I got this vision of like kind of what's the movie? My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Like all the columns are out in the front and all the Greek statues and everything. Was that kind of like your upbringing was kind of like that, but just more in a Buddhist Indonesian way?
Yes. I mean, yes. Like,
Yeah.
I I think there's a lot of comparison when you are young. First of all, I thought you were calling me young, and that was so flattering.
Oh,
Um, but there's a lot of comparison. I always felt like I had the weird house with the weird things. And now in hindsight, I have such an appreciation for the uniqueness and what my parents were bringing in and not being afraid to be different, which has
yeah.
translated into who we are as a brand. My parents live in a lovely community in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, these gorgeous houses and their house is beautiful, but there are sculptures outside and in the back that I often wonder what the neighbors think of. Nobody's complained, you can identify our house, but that's just, like, who we are. But
Yeah.
we are different. We are
Yeah.
different.
So how has that shaped you? And your brother's the CEO. Are there
Mhm.
any other siblings that are in the business as
No,
well?
no one's in the
Just the
business.
two of you? Just two of you. Okay. So like, how do you think that shaped you now that you're, in the family business and, you're in it every day?
I think it actually goes back a little more. Growing up, my brother and I went on, during school breaks, we went to these places overseas. And I definitely didn't understand what a privilege that was.
Mm.
Uh, I wanted to go to Aruba and Puerto Rico like everybody else did. I didn't get it. Why do I have to go to Bangkok and Bali? In hindsight, like, what an incredible opportunity. This is also, the '80s and '90s, so I saw those communities before they developed into what they are today, and
Mm.
tourism is great for these areas, but in Bali, we were able to you could smell rice fields, burning rice fields wherever you were, and now you have to drive 2 hours to see them, and I got my hair braided by women in their one family homes that all their children slept on, and it was a dirt floor. And so, this appreciation for different cultures and how people live
Mm.
and honoring that is part of our upbringing.
Mm.
In terms of the complete other side, we're kooky. You know, if you are ever at market, you will notice my father is known for his blazers and shoes. It is always a topic of conversation.
Are they like
I'm
loud or
They're
what's
loud, but
loud?
it's part of his personality.
Yeah.
He stands out and it's not obnoxious. It's authentic.
Mm.
And, you know, I don't do traditional, I just dress like me and my brother's like that and my mother's like it. And so that comfort in stepping outside the box of, what we're supposed to look like
Mhm.
is part of who we are.
That's really you're tapping into something here I think is really important for people to understand that you didn't try to be somebody else. You were you,
Mhm.
right? The brand is what it is, without exception.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, that's I think that, when I when some other and this is kind of a message that plays out across kind of all fields, not just within home decor and home goods, but any businesses, you get into, people get into the comparison game. I gotta be like this other
Yeah.
brand. And, you know, your Phillips collection is 40 years of being authentically you,
Yeah.
right? Your family, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? But in the end, that's the whole point, is that you're true to yourself. It doesn't mean that it's always been that. It's always like the pieces that you create have always been the same. It's
Right.
evolved, I'm assuming, over time
Mhm.
to go with trends and all of that, but it's still authentically, Phillips. So
And
that's go ahead.
yeah, and just with that, my father would always say, "You can't be everything to everyone,"
Yeah.
which is true. People will
Yeah.
say, "I'd love to see, a console with drawers." Maybe we'll get there, but the reality is that that requires another factory that is familiar with drawers and the accessories you have to get, and there are other people that do that, and maybe we'll get there while still being our style,
Yeah.
but you can't be everything to everyone, and that extends into all industries, jewelry and fashion and
Yeah.
beyond, makeup, whatever you're doing. Um, if you're in the luxury sector, you really have to be true to what your brand is.
So what would you describe the stage of growth you guys are in right now? Are you in kind of scaling? Are you refining? Are you, building? Where are you at?
I think of those, refining is where we're really today. Scaling is also something that we're always working on, how
Mhm.
to incorporate technology, how to be more cost efficient. And that extends to our customers where they're not
Mhm.
suffering in that, cutting back SKUs and all of that. But in terms of refining, I really think that that's our focus now. We an incredible team. Our IT and tech team is really great. They've built this app that is our own, and it's able to do really wonderful things. That the feedback I've received from my sales reps is, wow, you know, nobody else is doing this. This is so accessible.
Mm.
And so between the app and our online portal, our in-house portal, we're just able to listen to feedback, work together, see if we can implement this. And so even things like, rather than Philips building presentation PDFs constantly,
Mhm.
we've empowered our sales reps and in-house team to be able to build them through our ERP system.
Mm.
And so these are just tools to see, how can we make everybody efficient? How can we be efficient? Something as small as, in our system under a customer account, we would write in notes, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. And we realized that we're in a time of collecting data. And so we
Mhm.
had to create fields where we're putting that in, because we don't know if people are going to be communicating on, Pinterest one day, or Twitter, or
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok. So to really think about how we can use what we have and refine it is,
Mm.
I think, where we are today.
So what over the last year, or even so far this year, what's been one of the biggest um, business wins that you've had so far this year?
Ooh, business wins. Well, within the industry, there are certain awards that Philips fortunately gets recognized for. So there's something called the Pinnacle, and then there's the Arts Awards, which are like the Academy Awards of the industry. And so even being nominated is flattering. I think really having in stock items has
Mm.
been great. So we're able to ship quickly, which was something that gave us a huge advantage during COVID. When people couldn't get products, we had them, and we
Yeah.
got them, and they were out. And I think just people are, my brother taking over as CEO in December is an extraordinary opportunity for Philips. It's a new generation. He's been with the company since he graduated college, and that's really an opportunity for growth for us.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, that's been really great.
So how do you, and he's little brother, right?
He's little brother by 16 months,
16 months, little brother. All right.
but I am the favorite child, of course. But I
Of course you are.
He really deserves this role. He's there, he goes on the sourcing trips. I am remote. I'm in New York,
Yeah. Okay.
and I'm trying to do that crazy thing of balance, which I don't believe there is between motherhood and your professional life. And the way
Yeah.
I see it is my kids come first in terms of an emergency. But when I'm mom. And when I'm Jessica Phillips at work, I am 100% that. So, being remote would make it hard for me to have that C-suite job. So Jason
Yeah.
is perfect for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Jason, doing a great job, buddy. If you're
Don't tell him I said that, but
okay, I won't. I won't.
publicly,
I'll edit that out.
yeah, but he is. It was a seamless transition and
Good.
a
Good.
great move for our company.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what marketing channels are working really well for you guys right now?
Wow, that's a great question. We're definitely doing a lot of communication through email. We are not in the trade publications anymore. I don't know what the future will hold for that, but there's so much online. And social media, I think Pinterest is actually our best performing platform,
Really?
which we didn't expect. Instagram used to be, and the algorithm has changed so much
Yeah.
that that has we're not getting the same response that we once did or engagement. So again, that's one of those things with like, how do we grow for that? Like, what
Mhm.
do we have to do TikTok? So marketing primarily is through our sales reps, which we expect to get presentations, email communication, and just when people come to market, that whole experience.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, from the Pinterest side, because, that's kind of a natural place to go. Like, if I was to go look and so, okay, what's a source of inspiration? I'm looking for, you know, put it, I want to read in my living room or whatever, you're kind of poking around there to get ideas of like, oh, okay. And then you start getting an idea of, oh, this is the Phillips collection. This is, this or whatever. You start to get that, just that it's a great hub for all of that. So, okay, moving on, where do you think the next evolution of Phillips collection of the brand, what does that look like?
Well, I know that we are a niche look with a niche customer. And so we need to always work on product development. Um, Something I think about is how can you have a design that stays true to Philips in terms of materials and style, but is more
Hmm.
accessible to a larger audience. Um, so I'm always pushing for like a bookshelf made of our wood, which people recognize, but isn't too whimsical.
Hmm.
But then the challenge of like, well, our wood is 3 inches thick, so that's really heavy. So how do we work with that?
Put it on the wall, just falls off.
So it's such thick wood, but that it lasts. That's why you pay Phillips price, not a veneered or 1 inch piece of wood.
Yeah.
My brother is really interested in going in the direction of whole home. And so that would mean
Mhm.
how do we incorporate COM fabric? How do we do more textile chairs with, pillows on it? Do we want to go into the dressers? Do we want to go into beds? And so he
Mhm.
has an incredible vision and he has a background in industrial design. So he wants to expand into this broader market, but that doesn't happen overnight. So it's
Yeah.
good to have that goal in mind that we're always
Mhm.
working towards.
Yeah, and imagine testing certain things gains traction for the brand.
Right.
Okay, yeah, you just don't go all in and hope that everything sells. There's a whole process to it. So,
There is.
okay. Uh, so I have another question for you, and I don't know if you can answer this, but maybe let's see what you think. If you can wave a metaphorical magic wand in the business and fix one thing, what would that be?
Within our business or
Yeah.
the I think that really, like my previous answer, it would be how do we become a brand that people buy more than those few elements for
Mm,
their home or their space? How do we, because there are certain brands that do a great job and like, oh, I'm here, I'll get my carpet, I'll get my desk, I'll get, you know, my sculpture. But how do we get them to buy a whole look? And I think we're really doing we're doing a lot of conversations internally or having a lot of conversations about showroom design. So we used to curate our showroom by here's a lot of silver products and here's a lot of wood products. And we found that it's really hard to pick a room full of silver.
mm,
So mixing it up so it feels like I love how that, silver mirror works with that gray, we call it gray stone, a gray washed wood console. And that's actually a great planter. And
mm,
so really thinking about how to have people, the price per sale increase
mm.
or order
Okay.
size.
That's, I mean, when you're dealing with interior designers and people who are picking up the collection, I imagine that it is something that they just want you, like you, instead of kind of putting everything in one area, you know, giving them you're planting the seed
Mhm.
of this is how it can be utilized
Right.
in an environment, right? Uh, all right. So here's a more reflective question. Thinking back to your younger self, what is one piece of business advice you would give?
I guess I've been having this reflection lately of what I was like at 22 as an ad sales assistant in a totally different industry. Emotional intelligence is so important. And I don't know if that's really what you're asking, but I've I think at this point in my life, in my 40s, I that's a strong skill for me now. But when I was younger, I don't think I knew my audience.
Mhm,
I think I thought I took things personally in terms of business, a rejection of an idea, a customer
mhm,
who says that's not really for me. Um, and I also have a background in education. And so I hopped around from different industries. And so I got to see the corporate world and the startup world and all of that. And I was a teacher in New York City. And that is such a transferable skill in terms of how I train people
mm,
rather than, just saying, here's a PDF or here's, a presentation I'm giving. But now I know that there's like auditory, visual, tactile learners, people who need to hear it more than once.
mm,
And so being able to be adaptable and make sure I reach everybody has become really important. And that comes from my education background and my experience with some people. Some of my sales reps or customers ask the same question over and over. And I don't see that as irritating. I see that as wanting to retain it. And
mm,
part of my role is how can I be available so that you know that I'll always support you in getting those answers.
mm. So in a way, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I'm hearing from you is you're really adapting. You've learned to adapt emotionally and then tying that into business to meet people where they're at.
hmm I mean, yes. And I think that when a designer is frustrated, they're not frustrated at me.
Mhm,
They're coming from a client that is frustrated that they're
mm,
finding a solution, trying to find a solution for. And so
yeah.
what can I do to find solutions that work for myself, that work for them, that work for their client? And so understanding that, I don't mean this to insult anybody, but dealing with like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, and I have 2 kids that are very different ages, they really just want to be heard. I
Mhm,
think me personally, I would love to act out and scream and kick and pout and sulk, but we're adults and we don't do that. And so how
well,
do
some people do.
and that wouldn't
Yeah.
be a great skill for me and I
Yeah, I
probably
wouldn't,
wouldn't
yeah.
have a job. But,
Yeah.
how do I listen? How do
Mm,
I, like you're saying, meet people where they're at and just come up with solutions or give straight answers? How do you deliver an answer that is not what they want to hear? If I don't have inventory and it's a discontinued product, what can I offer? And,
sure.
delivery of hard news is a
Mhm,
skill as well.
mhm. It is. It's not a fun part of the job
Mm-mm.
at
Mm-mm.
all. Because sometimes you're like, "Yeah, I can't do that. That's not gonna work."
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
What is one thing you hope listeners or people watching this walk away from after hearing your story?
Um, I think most important would be to stay true to who you are, to keep focused on a vision and have a clear mission statement, vision statement in mind of who you want to be. We've been around for 40 years. It did not happen overnight that you have to take risks. We have to put out designs that may not be
Mm,
received well, but I really think being true to who you want to be in the market is very important.
mm. It's very true. It doesn't happen overnight. Like,
Mm-mm.
you have to keep at it every day, especially in days where you're like, "Why am I doing this again?" The journey of entrepreneurship, and it's an up and down, backwards, forwards, thing. So,
It is.
okay. I'm gonna ask you 2 fun questions. Out of your entire collection that you guys offer at Phillips, what is your favorite piece?
Ooh, I love that. Um, well, bear in mind that I live in Brooklyn, in New York, so what I can put in my house is very different.
Your house is what, 4 feet by 4 feet?
Basically for 4 people, but there are these metal flowers on the wall that are really dimensional, and I love them so much that in my previous apartment, I had them in my bedroom, and then I put them in my daughter's nursery. Like, love them. I
Mm,
love when I see how people use them. I love them in my home. And I absolutely love our wood dining tables. They're extraordinary. Each one is unique. I mentioned this biophilic movement in the beginning that people should research because it's fascinating. But, our live edge tables are something really special.
yeah.
And sorry, we have onyx bowls out of Mexico that come in all different sizes. I have one, I love it, and it's become my new, like, gift. Smaller ones are different size.
Oh,
So when a friend has a birthday party, like, that's what I give them now. We're adults, and it's kind of nice to have something you wouldn't spend $200 on for something small.
yeah.
So I really love those as well.
Oh, very cool. Well, everyone should check those out. I believe they're on the website, so if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
And you're tapping into something also too, I think that is also important. I think when people are looking for those pieces that they wanna put in their home, and I'll get to my last question in a second,
Yeah, sorry.
but, is something that makes you happy,
Mm,
when you see it. You you mentioned, your tagline is, was it, to
every
start
piece of
conversations, right?
conversation.
Right? Like, that is what people should think of their home decor as, is
Mhm.
something you look at and you go, "I am excited to have that in my house. I
Yeah,
love having that in my house," because you look at it every day.
every
You
day.
use it every day.
Right.
And I'm a lot like you. I love unique things in my house, and I love to have things that I'm really proud of, things that I've sourced, things that when I look at it, it's just like it brings back a memory of getting it,
Mhm.
right? And that's how your home should feel, is that way.
Yeah.
And should you pay a little more for that? I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because it's such a piece that will stick with you. I mean, you mentioned that it's those, those flowers they have on the wall. I mean, but they've been with you over time.
Mhm.
So it's something for somebody to consider. If you're looking at your house and going, I don't like what I'm looking at, check out Phillips Collection. They got some
Yeah,
really great stuff. Make you
definitely.
happy. Great conversation starter. So, okay, I'm getting off my high horse here. Last question, and
Mhm.
it's another fun one. What do you got going on? Is High Point coming up again, or has that already passed? You have anything you'd like to promote or highlight? New
Yeah,
collection coming out?
Thank you. Yes. High Point is every October and April.
All right,
And
it's
Las
coming up.
Vegas market, we just wrapped. It's every January and July, August. So like
Okay.
the last part of July, which, Vegas in July is hot,
Yeah.
but your hair looks great because the humidity.
Yeah.
Um, but High Point, North Carolina in October is upcoming. People should be considering flights now, hotels, Airbnbs. It's really fun. And the industry is so kind and warm and inviting. And it's like a family, competitors, customers, everyone. It's really a beautiful experience. So I hope people are considering going to High Point Market in October.
All right. What's do you know the dates specifically?
I don't, but I
Okay.
can I can find them out.
We'll look it up. We'll post it up there. But if it's coming up in October, so if you have some
Oh, it's
availability,
actually I have it for you. It
okay.
starts the 25th of October and it goes through, the 30th, I believe. So a
Okay.
Saturday to a Thursday.
All right. All right. Cool. So if you're in that area, would like to check it out in North Carolina, go to High Point, say hi to Phillips Collection, the crew there.
Th
Go over there, check out their warehouse and all the stuff that they have. So, again, I'll put in the show notes, I'll put a link. It's just phillipscollection.com with two
Yep,
L's,
2 L's and
Phillips
an S.
Collection and an S, Phillips plural collection,
Collection singular. Thank you,
collection
Justin.
singular. Okay. And if you're listening to this, make a note of that. Go check them out. That's amazing stuff. And Jessica, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We had a little bit of a technical gremlins at the beginning of our conversation, but we got through it. And I'm really excited to see what's in store for you guys. And I just appreciate you as sister, family member, mama, doing whatever you're doing to make the world a more beautiful and livable place. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Justin. This was great.
All right. Well, that concludes today's episode on the Rise Up podcast. Who knows who will be next, but we'll dive into that whenever that happens. So until then, everyone have a wonderful day and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.